Gotta wait for it. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that, the green light is on, the red lights are on, and we are live, and it is Pull Up a Chair, episode 106 on a blessed, wonderful, beautiful, sleepless Thursday night evening to kick off this weekend of sleepless shenanigans that will be unfolding. And with that being said, you should already know this mug by now, but in case you've wandered on in here and you just don't know who I am, well, I love telling you it is the creme de la creme, the one that they do, in fact, call him Mr. El Tucker Tente, the ultimate motherfucking sensei, a.k.a. we'll save the rest for tomorrow and Saturday for both back-to-back Sleepless Radio episodes that I'm looking really forward to. But once again, this is Pull Up a Chair, episode 106. Good brother Doomer hopped in here already on the live. Big cheers, big prost, all love from the host. And thank y'all guys for being tuned in, joining us as we embark on this journey of audio where we get to indulge on all of our takes on all of the madness that's been unfolding in the simulation that we call 2025. Get out your bingo cards. However, before we get those bingo cards out, though, we got a lot to dive into on today's episode. I'm looking really forward to it. But before we dive into any of the fun stuff, any of the stuff that we love to talk about, you know, it's Mr. Captain, keep the love high and the hate low. And with that being said, I got to just keep it brief, keep it short. But I want to send all my love, send peace, good energy to everybody involved right now, everybody that's being affected by the riots going on in L.A. You know, if it was up to me, I'd pull up with a Corona truck and a Budweiser truck and try to find some world peace in this shit and make sure everybody's having a good time with a smile on their face, having some fun, not worried about being pried away from their loved ones on their front lawn. God, I hate seeing those videos. I try to even avoid them if I can. But only thing I can do really is just put a bunch of good love and good energy out there to everybody affected by those riots going on and just wish for the most peaceful possible, most loving outcome for what is unfortunately unfolding right now over there in LA. So just want to send my peace and love that way. And then we can get it bracking and get it right straight to cracking and talking about all this different shit that, well, we love to talk about. And one of the things that we always love to talk about, it's been a staple on Pull Up a Chair ever since numero uno, day one, is we love sharing our new music reviews because we're all music heads at the end of the day, no matter the genre, we all love it. And I know me and Doomer, for example, we love diving in on the new music. We're right there every 12:01, if not 12:02, when the music comes out on New Music Fridays. So with that being said, I know we can kick us straight off with the album that kind of had the whole timeline shaken for the past week. But before we get there, we can get a little bit of a build-up. I want to go over some singles because I did add some singles from last week's drops. First off, first and foremost, I got to put some love, respect on the homie. Fade Away by the good brother Legion just came out. All DSPs, all streaming platforms, go check that out. I'm going to end up sharing that to my story as well. Good brother Legion got another one straight off the smoker. Absolute bop, absolute gem. Go check that out. Fade Away by the good brother Legion. Sabrina Carpenter's back outside, literally outside in the music video. Sabrina Carpenter dropped a new record, first single off her upcoming album with a somewhat controversial cover art. But Sabrina Carpenter dropped her first single, Man Child, off of her upcoming album. And I'm going to tell you all this right now. That's my favorite Sabrina Carpenter song off the rip. I've been bopping all week. I think it's a gem. I'm not sure what her fan base is called yet, but I'm not quite sure if I'd classify as one of them. But I think we might be getting there with this Man Child record. I've been digging that a lot. Logic reminded us that he can actually rap. So that was fortunate. That was nice. He dropped a record called Old Logic, which I added it to the library. I thought that was really solid. Thank God we got away from the Playboy Cardi sound that we were trying to do there. I'm not quite sure what we were trying to accomplish, but you didn't. So glad you got back to your old logic right there. We got a new single off the F1 album for that soundtrack coming out, which was by Tiesto and Sexy Red, called Oh My God. Good brother Dooley co-signed it. It's a bop. If he say it's a bop, it's a bop. It's a lot. So that came out. We got a new Joyner Lucas single off of his upcoming sequel to his original project, ADHD. So off of ADHD 2, we got his first single, One of Them. I know I've had some choice words to say about Joyner Lucas in the past. I actually really like the record. Joyner Lucas, at the end of the day, no matter what you or me say, at the end of the day, Joyner Lucas knows how to rap when the headphones are on and the red light's on. So shout out to Joyner Lucas. I thought that was a solid record. Shay Noor could be in the running pretty soon for one of the greatest female rappers. There, I said it. As far as just how she's been just executing on every single level just leading up to this next project coming out, which is also a sequel for her. This is The Colored Chocolate 2, with now her second single off of it. We got Who's the Greatest, which is Shay featuring Elzai, which I thought, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably didn't. But Elzai got his shit off on that. Thought that was solid. But that new record, Blink Twice with Shay Noor, I'm telling you, man, she keeps that output going, and she keeps this, like her On the Radar freestyle, the way she kicked that, I believe it was On the Radar. If she keeps up at this level, man, Shay Noor might end up in that Rhapsody conversation with me for real. I've been following Shay Noor now for a little while now, and she's absolutely incredible. I got nothing but amazing things. Hello, my Mike Tyson. Amazing things to say about Shay Noor when it comes to her talent and just her bodies of work. Absolutely incredible across the board for me. But now to dive into the albums, because I know that's what we know, that's our meat and taters as far as the new music goes for this week. But before we get to the one that had the whole timeline shaking, C6, spoiler alert, I did want to shed some light on another one of my underground cats that I've been a huge fan of for a long time. This is dating back to, my goodness, probably 2016, 2017-ish. And that would be from the Windy City, from the Chicago music scene, the good brother Joey Perp. Back Outside, produced by Thelonious Martin, another producer that I've loved for a long time. He worked with Mac Miller on a couple of joints as well, Malcolm Interlude being one that was on a King Thelonious project. So I love getting to see them link up. Nice little quick in and out 7-track project. We got Joey Perp and Thelonious Martin. I actually got to put that on my highly recommendation for the week. If anything gets the highly recommendation with the capital H-I-G-H, it would be Blink Twice by Shay Noor. And I got to go with Champagne Seats, Joey Perp and Thelonious Martin. I thought they fucking, boom, hit this bitch, zingered it right over the wall. Joey Perp, who doesn't really drop that often, I think he's always on point with each and every one of his drops. And they're usually not long projects, but they're projects that just have insane replay value, just keep you coming back to them, especially with how he keeps you waiting for so long for the follow-ups. I think Joey Perp really delivered on that extremely well. I thought the production from Thelonious was incredible. My 3 biggest takeaways, though, from that project, I got to go with Some More, number 1. I know that seems to be a highlight off the project. I think Some More is incredible. Make the Lakers, the single, I thought was incredible, but that's actually not one of my highly recommendations. For my number 2, I'm going to go with the self-titled track off of the album, Champagne Seats. I thought that was just immaculate. And then I thought the outro, I Came, I Seen. I thought that was absolutely incredible. Joey Perp rapping on an extremely high level, as always. Thelonious Martin locked in behind the boards. I'm not sure who mixed it. Maybe he also mixed it as well. But Joey Perp and Thelonious, I got you at the top of the highly recommendation pedestal with the capital H-I-G-H for this week, which then takes us into and leads us into the Carter 6. Now, I know last week on Pull Up and Chair, we ranked all of the Carters from 1 to 5. Obviously, we hadn't heard the 6th one yet. It was just getting ready to come out. But the Carter 6, though, did come out. And, well, it got the timeline, and it got definitely got Pitchfork in the headlines as well. But a lot of people don't seem to be liking the Carter 6. A lot of people seem to I seem to keep seeing the same narratives over and over again. You get the Wayne's falling off. You get that narrative, which that's bogus in my book. I don't even think that's possible. Number 2, people were hating on the features. People were going, "Where's Drake?" Because the fake track list leaked, and we talked about that last episode as well. Last week. Excuse me. But overall, I mean, if you're just looking at the project, let's just take this thing top to bottom. Also, I'm going to factor in the 2 bonus records that came out over the course of this week. You had Nicki Minaj hop on, the band from New Orleans, which I thought she got her shit off on that as well. And then you just had, I believe it's Lil Wayne, Lil Baby, and Future hopped on a Mama Don't Worry, which is now a new bonus track for the Carter 6 as well. And a lot of people have been saying that C6 is the worst Carter. And just to label off a couple of those narratives, I want to start with that one. Is the Carter 6 the worst Carter of the Carter series? Yes, it is. It is that. And that's okay. And see, that's the thing that I wanted to dive into. I feel like people are saying, "Oh, it's the worst Carter. It's a dud. It's a flop." Yes, it's the worst Carter. But you got to look at where the bar was, where he put the bar. We're talking about classics. One of the most classic album series that we have in hip hop is the Carter series. You take it from the Carter 1 all the way till now. That is one of the most iconic, most long lasting, most relevant series in album history as far as hip hop goes. Stop me when I'm telling lies. Because, I mean, if you look at the impact, especially from the Carter 2 to the Carter 3, Carter 3 sold over 1 million copies in first week. That's unfathomable these days. I don't even know if it could be done. I don't know if there's an artist on God's green. I don't know if Taylor Swift packaged her underwear in with her vinyls and merch, if that could even sell over 1 million first week. I think maybe she did it, but we're talking about Taylor here. And people expect the new Lil Wayne to sound like 2007 prime, no beat is safe Lil Wayne. I'm sorry to tell y'all, as a Wheezy fanatic myself, as a Tunchi stan, that prime era of Wayne, it's gone. And that's okay. That's okay. We can mourn it. We can go back and listen to the Carter 2 and the Carter 3 and 4 and the first Carter. Hell, even 5. And just go back to those original Carter times. What Jay-Z say, if you don't like my new shit, if you want my old shit, buy my old album. You're not going to hear an Milli or a 6 foot, 7 foot or a Go DJ or a Fireman or a Best Rapper Alive on the Carter 6 in 2025. It's just that ship is sailed, brother. That ship is gone. Long gone. That ship been left. The ship didn't wreck either. It just left. And that's okay. You can go get on that boat again. But as a big Wheezy fan, as somebody that loved and was expecting and excited for that new Carter, I think overall, if you look at it top to bottom, which we're about to dive into it, I think he delivered for the most part. That's what I would expect the Carter 6 to sound like in 2025. I'm not mad at it. Good Brother Doomer said, new Lil Wayne is not the same as old Wayne. Same with Eminem. Thank you, brother. You can't compare the old Carters to C6 because Wheezy ain't even the same person he was back then. Thank you, good brother, for agreeing with the bullseye there, because I feel like that's what everybody was overlooking, and I get it. Expectations get the best of me, too. I wanted to hear Drake on it. I wanted them both to be dissing New Orleans and dissing Kendrick and opening up the can of worms all over again and opening up Pandora's box. Sure. Do I wish there was an Milli caliber record on the album? Of course I do. But why would I go in expecting that when I can look at the calendar and the calendar says 2025, knowing that I was in middle school when the Carter 3 came out? And you can't get that nostalgia back. You can't get that impact back. You can't get that. Man, I remember when I first heard we're now being approached by an unknown enemy, and the beat came in and it went crazy. And I remember the first time I heard Go DJ, get that my DJ. You're not going to get that no more. But maybe there's the new 12, 13-year-old that's going to pull up this Lil Wayne Carter 6 album and go, hey, he's got Big X the Plug on it. That shit's a bop. Now let me go back and dive into the old Carters and go, whoa, what is this? Like, I remember the first time I heard Nas, for example. First time I got hip to Nas was Hip Hop is Dead. That's when I first got hip to Nas. Did I think immediately, oh my God, this is the greatest Nas of all time? I thought, no, this is incredible. If I like this much, well, then maybe I should go back and listen to the old stuff. And then within a year or two, I'm listening to The World Is Yours and just listening to Illmatic and listening to It Was Written. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is incredible. And that's timeless music. So maybe the new fan of Lil Wayne can hear something like hip hop with Big X the Plug on it. And then he gets to have that same moment where he goes back and goes, whoa, I've never heard a Milli before. This is crazy. And he just gets to have a full circle moment with it. He said, which is funny because Hip Hop is Dead is regarded as one of Nas's worst albums. Boom! Thank you again, brother. Because that's what I'm trying to say. And I thought that shit sounded dope at the time. So somebody might be listening to the Carter 6 at that same age that I was and go, yeah, man, this is cool. I dig it a lot. But now let me go back. And that's when they realize, hey, wait a minute. I might think this is good. Well, whoa, what about what he did back then? This is timeless. That'd be like saying that I'm going to judge Led Zeppelin based on how they performed on their 50th anniversary, as opposed to when they were in their primes in the 70s, flying off of acid, just putting out banger after banger. Like, at some point, you got to put all of this shit into perspective. I get it. We love Lil Wayne. We wanted a classic, timeless album. We didn't get that. That's okay. So now to dive into the Carter 6 here, to try to take it from the tracks top to bottom. I thought King Carter could have been a little bit better, but with how normal Lil Wayne intros go, you don't really get bars on them more often than not, I feel like. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought it was serviceable. Welcome to the Carter, I consider that being like the official intro to the album. I thought it was all right. I thought it was solid. Bells. Bells is a little, okay. He sampled LL Cool J. The beat is not one of the best beats that Lil Wayne's ever rapped over. We'll keep it at that. Bells not a highlight on the album for me. We're going to keep the love high on that one. We're going to kind of just skip right over Bells. Then you got Hip Hop with Big X the Plug and Jay Jones. I thought that was a banger. For me, when I was listening to the album off first rip, I thought once we got the hip hop, I was like, okay, we're getting some steam here. Picking up some steam. That led us into Sharks with Jelly Roll and Big Sean, because if you put out an album in 2025, you are legally required to have Jelly Roll on the album somewhere, even if it's for just a hook. So I thought that record though was incredible. Actually, let me not dilute incredible. I thought it was really solid. I thought Big Sean really rapped extremely well on it. I thought Big Sean actually kind of stole the show on the record. Thought Jelly Roll had a very serviceable hook. I thought Lil Wayne did pretty good on it. Then you get Banned from New Orleans, which now we know we have the remix with Nicki, which she said, if I send you a picture of Shannon, you ain't sharp. I'm a barb. I thought that was a bar. And then she proceeded to say, the NFL needs to fire people and call us. I wouldn't be waiting next to that phone for that phone call. I don't know if I'd be waiting for that one personally. But especially after you said what you said. Now, normally, track 7, normally I'm not a Bono fan. Normally, I will sit in front of this camera and tell you I think U2 could possibly be the most overrated band of all time. However, with that being said, my bias aside, call me crazy, but at least you're calling. I think Lil Wayne and Bono with the Days, I think that's a really good joint. I actually really like that. I've probably listened to that probably a good handful of times since it came out. I actually really like that record a lot. And normally, like I said, I would normally want to punch Bono in the jaw. So for me to say that, I think should say something. Next record, though, I do believe should be the single that gets the music video and gets the full-on single treatment to also further push the album. My favorite joint, the one that I highly recommend off listening to the album, is Cotton Candy with 2 Chainz. Personally, I feel like Lil Wayne had that one in the vault for a little while, and that probably could have went on Collie Grove too. However, I think Lil Wayne said, Titty Boy, I need that one for me. I need that one for the album. Cotton Candy, I've replayed the shit out of. I love Cotton Candy. I love the Cotton Candy. But I love Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz Cotton Candy joint. I couldn't say more things about it. Absolutely love it. Think the beat's incredible. That's definitely, though, my favorite off the album. Flex Up, track 9, I thought was really good. I think this is where he goes on a run. I thought Flex Up was really good. I really like that joint a lot. I like Island Holiday a lot. Even though I know some people criticize the production, I thought Island Holiday was great. Loki's Theme. Again, I know I might be in the minority on it, and that's okay because normally I am on this shit. But I thought Loki's Theme was a really solid record as well. Same thing with the follow-up, track 12, If I Played Guitar. Thought that was really good. Track number 13. How do I keep the love high on this one? I don't know if I do. So let's keep the hate low and make sure we keep it all love. Peanuts to an Elephant. Whoever made that beat, I'm going to be honest. I think you might need jumped. I think something's going on up here that's just not wired correctly. And maybe a couple good solid blows to the temple might be able to wake you back up and jog you. Peanuts to an Elephant is hands down the worst track on the album. I get it. People want to meme and bag on bells and all that shit. Peanuts to an Elephant was somebody with Parkinson's disease trying to work a beat pad. I'm not quite sure, and I'm not disease shaming, not being a, what do they call that? I'm not being an ableist. Don't you dare. Don't you put that on my jacket, Ricky Bobby. But Peanuts to an Elephant, though, I don't know. We need to feed that to elephants because that shit's trash. Then that leads into Rari, which I know this time last week it got to be one of those moments where I make myself look like King Fulio. But Lil Wayne had his daughter, Cameron Carter, on a joint called Rari. Thought it was all right. I mean, I'm not going to go back to it all that much. But then again, I don't even know if I'm the demo for that one. But all in all, though, I thought Rari was all right. I thought Maria with Andre Baselli and Wyclef, I thought that was pretty solid. I thought that was good. I thought Being Myself with Manny Fresh was one of the best records on the album. I hope to see that in the set, actually, October 14th when I go. I hope to see that in Cotton Candy in the set. I really like that record a lot. I thought Being Myself was incredible. Wouldn't have mind hearing more and seeing more Manny Fresh on the album, though, especially as like an executive producer. Maybe he could have cleaned some of this up. Then you got Moolah coming in with Lil Wayne and Now We Know his son, Lil Navi. I thought Moolah coming in was all right. Again, probably not going to go back to it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I just, like I said, probably won't go back to it. Then you get Alone in the Studio with My Gun, Lil Wayne, MGK, and Kodak Black, a.k.a. MGK, a.k.a. G-Eazy, based on who Kodak thought he was. But Alone in the Studio with My Gun, I thought could have been a lot better. I guess MGK kind of had that record sitting around with the hook on it and sent that to Lil Wayne based on what Wayne said in the verse. Again, not mad at it. Could have been a lot better considering the 3 names on it, but not mad at it. And then if you go by what the original outro was Written History. And I think a lot of people are overlooking Written History because there's a lot of great bars in there and a great flow and just overall a great theme of the record for it being a Lil Wayne outro. I mean, granted, it's not a Let It All Work Out or a Mirror with Bruno Mars, or I Like the View, I should say, if you go by the Carter 4 bonus. But I thought Written History was really good. I actually, that was another one of my 3 standouts, that Being Myself and Cotton Candy. Those were my 3 biggest takeaways from the album. And then, of course, like we said, we had the 2 bonus tracks on it. But overall, though, I thought the Carter 6, I mean, I'm not going to give it the Pitchfork 2.9 out of 10. That's disgusting. Come on now, what are we doing? I don't really rate albums. I don't really even know how to go about that, to be honest. I've tried before in the past. I'm not really too good at it, to be honest. I'm usually way off and regret my rating later on. I will say this, though. When I tried to predict what the first week's sales were going to be, I said that they would be somewhere between 240 to 310,000. However, I really overprojected on that one because according to what I saw, looks like the Carter 6 is only projected to sell somewhere roughly between 110 to 140K copies. But I guess we will see how that cookie eventually will crumble and see what the official numbers are. But like I said, though, I enjoyed the Carter 6. I thought it was good for what it was, for 2025, for getting a new Carter. I try not to take those things for granted because I don't want... I think in a case like this, too, a lot of people forget that maybe Andre 3000, somebody that might be looking at this, going, yeah, that's why I don't drop. Because if I do, y'all are just going to rip it apart and rip it to shreds in seconds. And I also saw another take on social media regarding Carter 6 being trash. Now, I'm not about to call Rob 49 trash or anybody that likes the What the Helly record. But how the helly are we going to get behind What the Helly? But then when we got Lil Wayne rapping at a high level, go, yeah, that shit's trash. But we'll go with, what the Helly? What the Halle Berry? What the Halliburton? And that's okay? Come on now. Come on. All I'm saying is, if we're going to start calling shit trash, at least let's call it down the middle. Because if you ask me, that sounds a little crazy that we're going to go, what the Helly? What the Halle Berry? What the Halliburton? But the moment that Lil Wayne raps a 32-bar verse, all of a sudden it's trash. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I know I am, but sometimes I think that might be the best thing going for me. But that is what I wanted to share as far as new music goes. And now we get to dive into what we got coming out tonight. So let's see what we're looking forward to coming out at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure what time zone y'all are in, whether you're watching this live or watching afterwards. If you're watching afterwards, who knows? Maybe it's already came out. But let's see what we got cooking here. See what we got crack-a-lacking. So, for new music dropping tonight, looks like we have a little bit of a slow new music weekend. I know there's a rumor that Drake could be dropping Iceman because we got Kendrick Lamar in Toronto tonight and tomorrow. So who knows, maybe Drake wants to get a little shifty on him and drop Iceman. Supposedly, according to Maul 2, Iceman has a bomb. However, I will throw this out there, though. I will go on record and say, if you're expecting a new Drake album tonight or tomorrow, don't hold your breath. I would say that that'd probably be coming towards the end of June to early, maybe mid-July. But who knows? You never know. The sixth god might decide to drop out of the blue. I can tell you one thing, though. Because it's Drake, no matter if it does come out tonight or not, that sucker is not coming out at midnight. I'll tell you that right now, as sure as the sun rises tomorrow morning. But to go back to the new music dropping tonight, we got Doughboy and Fetty Wap, Lil Sexy. We got a new Gunna single, Won't Stop. Go Get the Rat Cheese. We got Pierre Bourne, Pop. We got Chris Brown, Holy Blindfold, who's been cleaning it up on the Breezy Bowl tour. Oh, God. We got Tory Lanez, Nights Like This and Reminds Me Of. Who knows? Maybe that's an autobiography of the night that he shot a woman. Then we got Lil Tecca, Dopamine album coming out. We got a new Roddy Ricch single off the F1 soundtrack, Underdog. We got Milksy, I'm not even a Severance Sickness, all one word, coming out at midnight. We got, I don't know who this gentleman or woman is, but we got 4-5 dropping after album. And then we got a new collab album, live and in color, Juicy J, Shut the Fuck Up, and Logic. So I'm looking really forward to that. We got a Juicy J Logic collab incoming. That's actually what I'm looking the most forward to. And then I'll probably give that Doughboy a look because that's the land right there. I got to show love to Cleveland. And then I'm excited for that Chris Brown single. And I'm not going to lie, I am excited for the Roddy Ricch single too. I've never been a big Roddy Ricch guy, but I do like some Roddy Ricch though. Then we got a new Smiley album, Don't Box Me In. Then we got Four Bats and Wale, When I Get Home, Muy Interesante. Then we got Will Smith, Pretty Girls. Oh boy. Then we got Dave East, Pablo and Gunner. So nobody's featured on that record. So Dave East cannot get smoked unless somehow he creates an alter ego that somehow smokes him on his own joint. Now that would be impressive. Then we got ESTG dropping the My World album. We got another album called Cycles by Ian Dior. And then my guy, my dude, my podcast mentor, the good Rory, dropping with Masego and Freddie Gibbs Off-Road. Wanted to save that one for last because let me give you all a little spoiler. I got a little bit of an exclusive, and I got to hear Off-Road, which is Rory Masego and Freddie Gibbs, a couple days ahead of time, only a couple days, so I've been able to sit with it and listen to it about a handful of times. And I will tell you, another new Rory banger incoming for the second single off of his upcoming album. We got Rory, Freddie Gibbs, and Masego, baby. First single coming out, or second single coming out tonight at midnight. Rory already put out his first single a couple months ago with Leon Thomas, Who Are You Anyways? But I off-rip like Off-Road a lot more than Who Are You Anyways? Freddie Gibbs has an incredible verse. I can't wait for y'all to hear on it. It's been hard for me not to spoil it in any sense, but I don't want to ruin my privileges, my exclusive privileges. And shout out to Rory for letting me get that joint ahead of time and listen to it. Y'all are in for a banger. Let me tell you that one. Banger. I'm going to be sitting in this same spot next week telling y'all HIGH. Highly recommend. And with that being said, he said, not going to lie, those sounds exciting to me. None of those albums sound exciting to me other than the Logic collab. Yeah, I mean, those aren't really typically in my wheelhouse or in my demo either, but I like to make it known just so everybody knows what's coming out tonight, making sure, who knows, maybe y'all are a big Ian Dior fan and, we don't barely even know who the guy is. But, we just like to accommodate all, make sure we cover all of our bases, cross our T's and dot our I's as we prepare to fly. But, that Rory joint, though, I'm looking really forward to seeing what y'all think on that. But there was a name that I mentioned in that, There was a name that I mentioned right there, though, in that new music drops. Four Bats and Wale, that kind of just transitions us into what I was going to bring up next, which was the BET Awards that happened on Monday, which, to be honest, I did not watch because it felt like they were barely promoted, and it was on a Monday. Normally, they do those on Sundays. You can't put it side by side with Monday Night Raw to me. You can't do this to me. You have any idea how much I sacrificed? But that wasn't my best impression that I've ever done. That was me trying to do William Dafoe. But I did not get to watch the BETs, though. I did, however, get to see the recap. I saw Kendrick cleaned up. And I just wanted to say, man, Kai Cenat, How do you not know who Wale is, dog? You walked right past him like he was a guy asking for a handout. He's over here. Oh, yeah, look at that dude on the Switch. And then you had the audacity to go, oh, chat knows this guy? Chat knows this guy? Who's Wally? Who's Wally? That's why I don't blame Wale for coming up to Kai at the end of the night being like, yo, man, you're making me look crazy out here. Getting me clowned by all your young fans. Man, you got to put some respect on Wale's name. A lot of people forget that Wale has had an incredible, relevant run for a long time now. Iconic albums, iconic mixtapes. I don't blame him for checking Kai on that. I thought that was crazy to do him like that. Hillary Duff Wale? How you going to duff him like that at the BETs? Come on, man. Do better, Kai. Blanco out now. I love Wale. You guys know me. Those that do know me know how much and how many great things I've said about Wale for the past 106 episodes and all the episodes of Sleepless Radio. I'm a Wale fanatic. I love Wale, fellow wrestling fan as well. That's why I'm surprised he was even there on a Monday night. He probably had Raw pulled up on the Switch. But no, I just thought that was crazy, though, that like Kai made him look wild like that. And like Kai Cenat really acted as if he had no idea who Wale was. It's like, come on, man. Some of these podcasters out there, y'all got to do better, man, because when I see shit like that, it's like, how do y'all even have a platform that y'all are able to speak on, that people listen to y'all, when you're over here calling Wale, like it's the Disney movie and he's the little fucking robot trying to go around looking for candles and fuel and batteries and shit. Can't do my man Wale like that. Come on, man. Kai, do better. But did want to mention, though, that BET Awards did happen. I saw Doechii brought home I believe Best Female Artist. I hope I'm not wrong on that one. But I did see that she brought that one home. Shout out Doechii and Kendrick Lamar. He got the broom out again. Granted, he didn't get to go on his a full length sweep, but he did pull in 5 awards out of his 10 nominations. Those 5 being Album of the Year for GNX. We got Video of the Year, Not Like Us. We got Best Collaboration, Luther. We got Video Director of the Year, him and Dave Free, and Best Male Hip Hop Artist, Kendrick Lamar. So once again, Kendrick Lamar shows up, steals the headlines besides Kai and Wale. But Kendrick showed up to the BETs. He gave Drewski the meanest mug I've ever seen, along with Kai Cenat. So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought it was funny that they put Drewski that close to Kendrick. And shout out to SZA, which, as you know me, I love both sides of the beef. Don't get me started. But I thought it was funny, though, that SZA pretty much looked like she went out of her way to introduce Kendrick to Drewski. And that look that Kendrick gave Drewski was absolutely hilarious, especially when he ended up walking past him when he went to go accept one of his awards. In fact, when Kevin Hart handed him all of his awards. But I just thought that was super funny the way he mean-mugged Drewski. Drewski was standing 10 toes, though. He wasn't trying to be Mr. Fake Friend like Kai Cenat was. So that's another red flag on Kai. You got to stand on business, dog. You can't be in front of the streams and in front of these cameras talking about, oh, I'm Team Drizzy, and then damn near get a tear in your eye when you get to shake Kendrick's hand. Sorry, but to me, it just don't work that way. I play both sides because I love both sides, and I would hope that neither of them would wage that against me and hold that against me. So I could genuinely walk up to both of them and dap them up and give them love. But I would also tell Kendrick, don't you dare play Not Like Us around me, because I'll show you the owl on my shoulder real quick, and the 6 on the other. So don't do that, brother. Don't do that to me, dude. But hold on, brother. No, I didn't want to do a shoot on Kendrick right there. But no, I thought the BETs, though, from what I saw, I thought they did a great job. I thought the performances were incredible. I thought Bow Wow had a great moment. Like I said, I only got to do a recap. I didn't get to go back and fully watch. But from what I've seen, though, man, I hope the BET Awards keep doing that, because it seemed like they completely revived the feeling, gave a great restored feeling to award shows as well. Seemed like it had a lot of people excited and a lot of people talking about it during it and afterwards as well. So shout out to the BETs, one of my favorite award shows to follow as well, which then leads us into the next thing that I wanted to say before we leave off of music. And this is fresh off the press this morning. The Grammys have decided to revive a category and add in a new category because of the backlash they faced this year. So let's start with that one. So to clean up all of the controversy that went down with Beyonce winning Best Country Album, which y'all know I didn't have a negative thing to say about that. I thought it was well-deserved, even though it stirred up all the honkies. No wrong and no fault in that. Sometimes stirring up the honkies ain't the worst thing. But the Grammys decided to add in Best Traditional Country Music Album moving forward with the Grammys. And I actually think that's a great idea, way to just clean up the backlash and go, hey, moving forward, we'll have a Best Traditional Country and a Best Country. So for the people that are true yeehaws on the porch with their Ronas and sand in their boots, they can really win that Best Traditional Country album and not have to worry about Beyonce or Post Malone or Young Thug stealing an award from them. But the one that I care the most about is they revived Best Cover Art. Thank you, Grammys. What did I just say? Because we rarely ever say it. Thank you to the Grammys. Thank you to the Academy for doing that. That is awesome that they decided to roll out Best Cover Art again. Cover art matters. Make cover art great again. Make cover art great again. Now I'll wear that on a hat, but make cover art great again. And I think that is what the Grammys are trying to do. It made me think of some of the most iconic cover arts that I've loved the most, like To Pimp a Butterfly. I hate to mention it, but I always thought the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy cover art was incredible too. But as somebody, though, that just loves great cover art, like Tyler, the Creator, always has great cover art. That comes to mind. I think it's a lost art in music that a lot of people forget, that great cover art can literally be the make or break on what makes somebody go, yeah, you know, I might check that out. Like when I'm going through new music, sometimes I see an album cover, I have no clue what the genre even is. And I'll click on it and be like, oh, let's see what it's about. And I think that a lot of people forget that that's how important cover art truly is in music. When you take that element out of it, that's when you get people doing AI and CGI and, hey, let me go take a picture in front of this brick wall and we'll call it art. Like, no, and that's not art. So I'm really just truthfully so glad to see them bring back that category. And now I'm excited to see what artists do with it moving forward. Because now it's like, are you going to half-ass your cover art still? Or are you going to realize how important it is and how much it matters and actually invest into that? That's what I do. That's what I've been trying to do since day one on my no budget. So with these artists with bigger budgets, open up that budget for a little bit better cover art and get some great designers involved. I think it's a lost art, and I'm excited to see it come back. So shout out the Grammys for doing that. Which now I guess that pivots us off into something else I wanted to mention. I know we just covered new music reviews, so I want to cover some new movie reviews and TV reviews. So we'll dive right into that. With all this new time that I've been having, that I get to keep up with more content and more of everything coming out on Netflix and all of the streaming platforms, because I have most of them. I did get to watch 2 new movies this week that I was excited to check out. And I got to start a new show on Netflix, as well as watch a new documentary that came out to start a series. So let's start with that one, shall we? So Trainwreck, for those that have Netflix, the first episode of a new series called Trainwreck has been released, and it's covering the Astroworld tragedy. Now, I know that we all remember the Astroworld tragedy when it first unfolded. For those that don't know, 10 unfortunate lives were lost at the Travis Scott Astroworld Fest, which they talk about it in depth, in length, with many different interviews from everybody that was on the production staff of the show to show goers to security to just really everybody involved with the event. They broke down what went wrong as to why 10 unfortunate lives were lost at the Astroworld Fest that day. So to break it down, which again, I highly recommend checking out that documentary. I really thought it was great how they broke it down and how they really got to show all perspectives and all aspects of what people feel like went wrong and how people feel like they could have bettered the situation the way with how they approached it. So pretty much what it ended up coming down to with the Astroworld Fest was they put way too many more tickets on sale than what the stage design and what the production design for the set and for the show and for the whole festival ground. They sold way more tickets and they put way more tickets up for sale than what they could hold. And when you also had fans start to break down the gates and break down the fence, those weren't even people that were tickets. So now you're already having people that you can't account for that you know are coming in. And now you have people hopping the fence by horde, looking like zombies in World War Z, that are now also rushing in, making you more over capacity. And based on the stage designs and the production designs, there was just not enough room and not enough space for all of these coked up, mollied up kids to go and they just all ended up just being jam-packed like sardines on each other, so that when Travis Scott came out and it was time to get lit and turn up, straight up, that everybody unfortunately went either straight back to the side or in front of him, crushing the person that was behind him or in front of him or next to him. And that's how a lot of people ended up being dehydrated. It was really hot that day. I mean, long story short, like I said, check out the doc so y'all can see it for yourselves, because obviously they break it down much more in depth than I can, keeping a short story long, long story short type shit. But I do think that when you read or when you watch that documentary back, it does make you give a little bit more, let me not say sympathy, but understanding as to why Travis Scott wasn't quite sure of the severity of everything going on. But I do believe that you will still have the same stance that I do when you finish that documentary, that there was a couple opportunities in there where Travis Scott definitely could have realized there was something going on and he could have stopped the show. And I think that is where he's got to hold some of the responsibility on himself. And again, I've never been in the moment. I'm also, a performer artist myself. I've never been in a moment on that, especially on a stage that grand, on if now's a good time to stop the show or not. I know he had some shit going on in his earpiece of people going, hey, we got to stop the show, to, hey, no, we don't got to stop the show. Just, stop it in 10 minutes. No, go on with the show. So there was a lot of moving pieces, parts. I don't think the full blame falls on Travis Scott. I think there's definitely a couple other heads in there that should definitely have some responsibility on their jacket and on their hat. But again, I recommend checking it out. First episode of this Trainwreck series. I'm excited to see where they take it. I think that was a great intro too, because I know for a while, a lot of us have been kind of in the dark on exactly what the real details of the Astroworld tragedy was. So I think it was really cool that they were able to break it down the way they did. That leads in, though, to another show that I'm actually already on season 2 on. I'm on episode 3, actually, of season 2. I started watching a new show earlier this week just to have on in the background when I'm writing and recording and whatnot, but it got me hooked. For those of you that don't know what show I'm talking about, it is called Your Honor, with starring, the main star of it is Bryan Cranston. I just wanted to give a little brief synopsis of that show, because like I said, it's had me in a chokehold. It's had me in a vice this past couple of days. I haven't watched a show this fast at this rate in a long, long time. Bryan Cranston, though, I've been seeing the show. I know it's a Showtime show, first off, and I've been seeing them advertise it for, past couple of years now. I remember seeing it, and I never really knew what it was about, but I've been trying to find a new show. So I was reading the synopsis on it, and it got me hooked instantly. So for those that don't know what the show is about, maybe you thought about checking it out, or maybe you were like me and you have no idea what the hell the thing even is. So, Your Honor, you got Bryan Cranston, who plays the judge, and it kicks off right away too. You don't really have to wait. Like, it's not a slow build by any means. So it kicks right off, and it shows you that Bryan Cranston is a judge. He's very respectable. Everybody in the community's got nothing but great things and amazing things to say about him. He's not somebody that will just look at a case and keep it simple and just throw somebody away. He really wants to make sure that he's got the right call on it, and that he's not putting somebody away that's being crucified unjustly, so to speak, in the middle of a courtroom. So he likes to make sure to hold his honor and to make sure that he calls it as best as he can when it's his courtroom. So they show that immediately on how well respected he is as a judge, and how he really is and wants to see justice in every shape of the word. Well, really quickly, what happens is you get his son, who's a teenager, about high school, about senior year, and he's in a somewhat bad part of the neighborhood. He's got bad asthma, so he's trying to look over, and he's trying to reach over and grab his inhaler that's in the passenger side seat. Well, the inhaler falls to the ground. He's trying to reach over, trying to pick it up. He's looking at the road. He can't quite keep an eye on the road. When he finally gets the inhaler and he goes to sit up, boom, hits this kid crossing the street on a bike, like a 14-year-old kid. Well, he stops, tries to assess the situation. He ends up realizing, oh my God, what have I done? Nobody saw me do this. Okay, I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to get away. Bam. He bends the left. All right, cool. Well, he goes home. He's trying to call his dad, trying to figure out what he should do about all this. Dad gets home, blah, 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 blah. And now his dad's pretty much got to be like, okay, well, I'm a well-respected judge, so I'm not going to just brush this under the rug for you. I'm not going to just help you bury this. We're going to go to the police station. We're going to turn you in. We're going to turn you in. And we're just going to accept the consequences on this. I'm going to help you as best as I can moving forward. However, once they get to the police station and the dad, the judge, realizes whose kid his son killed in that hit and run, he goes, get back in the car. We're going home. Get back in the car. No questions asked. We're going home. Get in the car. Well, who he sees when he goes into the police station, his son hit the most famous crime boss's son in that area. So when he sees that crime boss, he's already put away a couple of his guys. The last thing that he needs is, oh yeah, by the way, my son killed your son in a hit and run. My bad. So that's where he now tries to hide it, creates all this drama that unfolds, and it's all fast-paced, very fast-paced drama thriller. A lot of suspense in the show as well. I'm on season 2 now. I got nothing but great things to say about the show. I highly recommend checking that out. I can't wait to finish it, truly. It's got me locked in. I'm having a hard time writing and making beats when I got this shit on in the background with subtitles because I'm like, hold on, wait, huh? Yeah, so it's one of those shows for me, and I love that. But highly recommend checking it out. Once again, the show's called Your Honor. It's got Bryan Cranston in it. Highly recommend checking it out. Then that leaves me with the 2 new movie reviews I wanted to share. Well, to kick us off, I'm going to start off with, normally when somebody says, hey, I got good news, I got bad news, which one you want first? They go, oh, give me the bad news. So I'm going to give you the bad review first. Well, I'm a fan of Jason Statham. However, some of his movies are a little bit too ridiculous and a little bit over the top for me. And the movie that I'm talking about is Beekeeper. So I wanted to see Beekeeper now for some months because I like fun Jason Statham movies. You know what they call them, popcorn movies. You sit down, you eat some popcorn, you drink your soda, and you don't really overthink what you're watching. I mean, for God's sake, I watched them drop in the Meg movie, the movie about the Megalodon shark. They bombed the thing. They dropped a fucking mortar strike on it. They fired turrets at the thing. Didn't do anything but piss the shark off. Finally, in the climax of the movie, Jason Statham said, hey, you see that sharp spear over there? Give me that thing. Ran straight off the boat. Boom! Stabbed the shit out of it and killed the shark with his bare hands. He killed the Megalodon shark with his bare hands. And I'm a fan. Same thing with Crank. This dude was literally living off of shooting himself up with drugs, dropping off of helicopters, hitting cars, and living. I'm all for it. But the Beekeeper is where I draw the line. I'm officially drawing a line in the sand on Jason Statham movie. So this guy's a regular old Joe Schmo beekeeper who then all of a sudden is being told that he's not a regular old beekeeper, actually. He's really the government's top form of security so that when they have their biggest, most difficult obstacles to overcome, they send in Jason Statham in a bee costume. I shit you not. If y'all think I'm lying, pull that bitch up. But no, Beekeeper, what Randy Jackson say? Sorry, dog. That's a no for me, dog. No Beekeeper. I hate bees, so that's probably why I shouldn't even have watched it in the first place. But the other new movie, though, that I checked out, as far as new movies go, The Accountant 2 with John Berthal, and we got the returning Ben Affleck, his role. I thought Accountant 2 was really good. I actually liked it more than the first one. A lot more fast-paced action, and plus we already know what the character is that Ben is moving forward into the movie. So it wasn't like they had to do a long prelude or set it up. It was just smack dab, boom. Here's where we're going. Here's his long-lost brother. Guess what? He's an autistic accountant type dude too, and he can fuck some people up. So shout out John Berthal, shout out Ben Affleck. I thought y'all smoked that movie. I do recommend checking out The Accountant 2. If you like the first one, definitely check out the second one because I like the second one even more than the first, which then takes me into to cap off new movies. This isn't a new movie, but I went back and watched it for the first time in years, and I forgot how much I loved it. Jeremy Renner and Ben Affleck in The Town. Oh, my God. I hadn't seen The Town in years. I forgot how great of a movie that was. If that's went under your radar all these years, or if you haven't seen it in a while like myself, I highly recommend going back and checking that sucker out because The Town, absolutely incredible, timeless movie. My favorite Jeremy Renner performance. That's right. I'll even take it over Endgame. When he goes, you want to get mad at me? Well, then why don't you go talk to the man in the red mask and you ask him? Yeah, I'll take what he did in The Town way over him being Hawkeye. But no, shout out Jeremy Renner, shout out Ben Affleck, shout out The Accountant too. No shout out to The Beekeeper, but shout out to Your Honor as well, checking those out. Which then leads us right into, before we close out of here, did want to give an NBA Finals update. The Pacers are up 2-1 in New York against New York right now, going into Game 4, which I'll be honest, I'm not sure when Game 4 is. I want to say it's tomorrow night, though. Do not put me in stone on that one. I do believe it is tomorrow night, though, for Game 4 at the Garden once again. But will the Pacer be pacing on that court? People have been comparing Tyrese Halliburton to the Taliban, and we're calling him the Taliban, comparing him to the Taliban, and comparing him to the Pacer that was mentioned on the new American Manhunt Osama bin Laden documentary. Because for those that checked it out, I know I recommended it last week, but if you haven't seen it yet, there's a scene in that last episode where, to identify Osama bin Laden, they couldn't see him. They couldn't actually see him. They had to go off of a shadow that was reflective from the sunlight hitting the house at a certain time of day. So as he would go back and forth, they started calling Osama codename the Pacer. Well, now people are calling Tyrese Halliburton the Pacer for what he's doing to New York, because now he's dunking his nuts in the middle of the Garden. I'm waiting for Spike Lee to pull out a gun on the son of a bitch, because if he goes for one more of those, I'm telling you, Spike Lee or Ben Stiller might have to up the stick, because he is not holding back on his shit talk. But they have officially stamped Tyrese Halliburton as the Pacer of this series, and I find it absolutely hilarious. So shout out to meme culture for that one. Y'all hit another bullseye. But wanted to provide an NBA Finals update. I'm still hoping that the Knicks pull this one out, hopefully in 6 or 7 at this point. But you know what? If the Pacer ends up winning it and bringing a chip home, and Reggie Miller gets to have that moment seeing the chip held high, hopefully get to hold it high with Halliburton and everybody from that Malice in the Palace team, I'm not mad at it. So it's either the yes sirs or the Knickers. And I'm hoping, I said Nkinck. Don't you do that to me. Don't none of y'all do that to me. Don't you do that to the Ultimate Sensei. But no, I'm pulling for the Knicks in 6 still. But it looks like no matter what, this series will most go 7. And if the Pacers win, let's keep the love high and the hate low. I ain't mad. I'm just happy to see some good finals basketball. And now to close out sports, coming from the land, we are live from the 440, aka also the 216. But Nick Chubb, so long, partner, to infinity and beyond. I hope, and we wish Nick Chubb the best, and we hope for the best. Nick Chubb has taken his talents to Houston to join Joe Mixon in the backfield and to join C.J. Stroud and the Stroud boys down in Houston. So who knows? Hopefully that's a good fit for Nick Chubb. At the end of the day, I'm just hoping that he stays healthy and stays upright, and that his knees and ACLs and all of his muscles in his legs stay working just fine. And hopefully Nick Chubb can get all of the accolades, and who knows, maybe even get a chip in Houston. I wouldn't count on it or hold my breath, but we're wishing for the best for Nick Chubb as he leaves Cleveland, because he gave us his all, and he literally gave us his all. He gave us about every ligament in his left and right leg that he could possibly give. So I don't think we have any negative things to say about Nick Chubb other than wish you the best, partner. And now as we get ready to close out of here, thank you for being tuned in to Pull Up a Chair, episode 106 on a blessed, wonderful, beautiful, sleepless Thursday night evening. And I'm so excited to say that we will be back tomorrow to kick off episode Sleepless Radio, episode 240. What are we even on now? My goodness. Episode 247 of Sleepless Radio. But we're going in for a 2-parter, ladies and gentlemen, because tomorrow we got Sleepless Radio, episode 247. We got a DJ set where I will be recapping from January to tomorrow, literally with the new music that comes out tonight. I'll be factoring that into the DJ set list. So just as we did last year, we will recap the first 6 months of the year and all of the great new music that's unfolded across all genres as well. And I can't wait to see your requests. And I can't wait to share that set with y'all and get to go live with y'all on a Sleepless Friday night. And then after Sleepless Radio episode 247, we got Scotty Two Stoned pulling up for another episode of Bumps and Bruises, where we will rank all of the Money in the Bank matches from 1 through 5 We will cover all of the news that's unfolded this week and speculate on where we think we're moving forward and do a live Q&A as well for another new episode of Bumps and Bruises. Looking really forward to that tomorrow night. And to cap it all off on a weekend of great sleepless shenanigans, live Sleepless Saturday night for Sleepless Radio episode 248. For the first time in a long time, we're going with a 16-round. Yep, you heard it. 16-round showdown. Losers bracket 1v1. Me versus the returning Shake and Bake brother returning to pull up a chair in the hot seat with me, the good brother Lil Koozie Vert, my Shake and Bake brother. We're doing Lil Wayne versus J. Cole. 1-1 losers bracket matchup. He'll be representing Lil Wayne. I'll be representing J. Cole. 16-round showdown. We are looking really forward to that. And with that being said, thank you to everybody once again who tuned in to Pull Up a Chair episode 106. Can't wait to see what y'all got cooking for us tomorrow night on the live Q&A as well. If you'd like to ask me anything before we get up out of here, hit me, and don't miss. And with that being said, 29 Candles out now, available. All DSPs, all streaming platforms. The first single off the upcoming Some of This Pen EP, which will be available soon. The second installment of the trilogy. First installment, When Vampires Go Surfing, out now, available. All DSPs, no matter where you get your music, it is there, I promise you. And thank you guys for everybody that's been running up When Vampires Go Surfing. Plenty of more room in the water for my fellow vampires. We got new merch available now, as well as the Sleepless logo. But we got new merch available now. Exercise your demons every season and be dripped out with the El Tucretente, your ultimate sensei. So we got new merch available now as well, located in the tree of links, link in bio across all social media platforms. Follow me at TUKE, no space, LENKKU, because you know what it do. And so sick they say as if I was born with the flu. No, but with that being said, thank you guys. Wanted to open up that floor to y'all, see if there's anything you wanted to ask me, but I know y'all are going to be coming guns blazing live tomorrow night on Bumps and Bruises and hitting me tomorrow night throughout the DJ set. And I'm looking really forward to it, man. Another weekend of great sleepless shenanigans. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, X, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Wherever you want to follow me at, there's a chance if you type in that username, I am there. So thank you to the good brother Doomer. Pull up a chair for pulling up a chair with us. Thank you to the good brother KRS3. And thank you once again to everybody tuned in to Pull Up a Chair episode 103. Let me get up out of here, get back to the boards, get back to finishing off the Some of This Pen EP. But it is your host, Mr. Keep the Love High, Hate Low. Wake up in the morning with a smile on, look in the mirror and say, I love you. And with that being said, peace. See you tomorrow.